Hello, Cancer. How are you? Welcome. I hope you are doing very, very well. Cancer. Let's see how your energies will be for March 2026. We're going to do a general reading. Remember that we'll look at the details later in the new videos that I upload. Anyway, this reading applies to everyone who has Sun, Ascendant, Moon, or Venus in the sign of Cancer. I invite you to subscribe to the channel. If you want, you can follow me on my other TikTok and Instagram accounts, where I'll be uploading new content. Don't forget to activate all the bells so you can get notifications for the new videos. If you want a personal consultation with me, you can write to the email shown on the screen, and I will send you all the information you need. And pay attention because 3 phone lines have been activated, 1 for Argentina, 1 for Spain, and 1 for the rest of the world. There, you will be able to contact a tarot office 24 hours a day to speak with a group of tarot readers who will assist you around the clock and help you resolve all your questions. For more information, I'll leave it there in the video description. Here we have the Two of Wands. All right, let's channel a message for the sign of Cancer for March 2026. What goes with it? Here we have the Two of Wands, the Two of Swords, and the Ten of Wands. Over here we have the Page of Wands. A lot of fire. Pay attention, Cancer, because I feel that in March we see you looking toward the horizon. And this might have to do with the next steps you're about to take, next steps that could be related to paying attention, with a trip, with a move, or a move that also includes a trip. All of this is possible, right? But here we're talking about something new, about lands, about distant lands, about foreign countries. And maybe we're also talking about gaining momentum for something new, for something that motivates you. Saying, I want to get out of this situation. I want to get out. It's like, I want to get out of this house. I want to get out of these 4 walls. I want to open up. I want adventure. I want a new experience. I want to go out and explore because your sense of adventure awakens this month. That's why there will be such a strong need to open up to new things, to travel, to explore, to go places, and so on. So you start with the energy of already looking toward that horizon, maybe starting to choose places, starting to look at other countries, regions where you could see yourself. Maybe that has to do with moving, changing cities, changing your environment, or going to live in another province or state. That could also be the case. So you're there in a kind of search with a vision. What do you want to achieve? What do you want to manifest? What place do you want to leave? And where do you want to expand to? Now, can there be a bit of indecision? Yes, we have an energy here that blocks, but I feel it's temporary, just about making a decision. When I say temporarily, I feel that this requires, let's see, we're talking about this possibly being a big step in your life. And it requires a lot of thought. If, for example, you've decided to move to a new country, this means starting a life from scratch, right? Looking for a new job, dealing with other things. So that's why I see you there like, well, I have a great opportunity here, but I want to think it through. I also want to take my time. Why? Because that vision you have that you want to achieve, I feel like you all want to achieve it. You have a vision there, like a big goal. But you know that this takes effort. It takes work. Maybe it has to do with paperwork, visas, also financial matters, money, and also looking for a job in a new place. So there's a vision that has been awakened in your life. There's a revelation, and that motivates you and inspires you. But what happens? The mind starts to show up and begins to think, will I be able to carry this out? Will I be able to sustain this over time? Will I be able to support myself in that new country, that new place? It's like there's a need to experience, to say, well, I'll see what happens. I want to try. I'm curious about living in another place, for example, right? And maybe here, the desire for the experience wins out. Knowing that, well, it might be a bit hard at first, but then you think, what if I end up regretting not doing it? What would have happened if I had made the decision to broaden my horizons and have that new experience? Let's see what else we have. Maybe this Two of Swords as well. Pay attention, could also be talking about unconscious blockages. When we are about to take a big step in our lives toward our growth and development, maybe the mind does get blocked. It starts to make excuses, the limits begin, repression starts. You begin to see that everything around there can be very heavy, very dense. But it's also a matter of starting to see things from another perspective. That's why I ask, what is your drive? What instinct is speaking to you right now? Let's see what else we have. Let's go. Cancer sign. March 2026. General and available energy. Let's draw 3 more arcana. You have the Two of Pentacles or coins here. We have the World card, since the topic of travel has come up. Here we have the Five of Swords. 7 of Wands. All right. I feel like this has to do, yes, with resolving a conflict with oneself, right? Or maybe in some cases, this has to do with other people. Yeah, you have this idea of wanting to be a globetrotter, wanting to travel the world. I'm going to quit my job. And at first, this might seem like something crazy, but it's your instinct. You feel that call, right? To open yourself up beyond what you know. The globetrotter thing is just an example, right? Or this vision of broadening your horizons, of opening yourself up to something much bigger, of breaking out of a routine, of leaving a place where you feel like it's too small for you, or you feel like that place has already given you everything it had to offer. So there's a huge need for expansion this month. And what I feel is that also what's going to be felt is this issue of, I see you as if you want to, or beyond the fact that there may be people here who might not agree with this initiative, with this idea saying, no, Cancer, how are you going to leave that job you've had your whole life? Are you going to travel the world? Or how are you going to go live in another country? Or why are you going to move so far away, right? So yes, there are people I see here who might oppose this initiative, who share a different kind of vision. I feel like each person is going to give you their own personal point of view, right? Just because that person doesn't have in mind to make this trip doesn't mean that if you feel it, you shouldn't either. I mean, there's something that's leading to expansion, towards freedom. This is like, I want to be free from certain limits where I used to feel in the past, right? This is, I want to set myself free. And freedom, I feel, kind of has a price, and the price maybe has to do, pay attention with other people who set those limits. Whether it's friends, sometimes if it's family, if it's a close environment, right? It could be that they're testing you to see how convinced you are about this idea. So I feel that at first you might try to keep, try to make peace, right? Try not to, I don't feel like you want to get into conflict. On the contrary, it's more like, hey, I want to enjoy this, but I also want to be okay with you all. I'm going on a trip, or I'm going to go somewhere else, but I'll come back, I'll come visit. So there's also a need to reach a point of balance, right? To be flexible, not to get tense or anything like that, right? And try to reach an agreement with the other people as well, okay? It's also a month where you are closing and ending a way of thinking that has probably characterized you in some way. Let's see, this is like having those thoughts or beliefs that were very familiar. In other words, this really is over. I don't think like that now. I won't block myself. I'm not going to keep things to myself anymore. I'm going to start letting out what I want to do, what I feel in this moment, even though it might be that other people don't understand it or don't go along with it. Okay? Let's see. Let's see what else we have. I think it's a great month to connect with freedom, right? There's a big need to free yourself from patterns, free yourself from the past, free yourself from limits, from ties, free yourself from fears. Let's see. General energy available March 2026. Let's see. Let's see. He appears, for example. Thanks. You have the Nine of Wands here. The Fool. The Nine of Swords. This is pretty clear. Seven of Swords. Well, I have no doubt that based on this central column, I do see you in a very reflective mood. I see that there may have been disagreements there, as we've talked about disagreements with other people. I see that you've gotten out of some issue, some conflict or disagreement. But you leave with great wisdom, right? I mean, honestly, I want to rebuild my life. I want to open myself to a new world. I want to live a new experience, a new adventure. I want freedom. And that's what you're looking for. So what I feel is that you all have the courage and boldness here to keep persevering for this dream of traveling, for this dream of discovering new places, for this dream of being free from mandates, from conditioning, from limits. Maybe from a job. This can also apply to different areas of your life, right? Or it could be from a relationship. It could be from a job, from family expectations. But in some area of your life, Cancer, are you seeking that freedom and that expansion to live in your own way of living, of being true to yourself? Let's see, here maybe what's ending also has to do with fidelity to others. In what sense? Or complacency, or I do things this way so that other people don't get upset, right? It's like you're doing things so that, what? Sorry. What you do depends on what the other person expects from me. So I feel like this energy is very different, right? That now the one you want to be faithful to is yourselves. To follow your own impulses, to persevere for what you feel. But you know that that's why I say it's a month, and we've started, it's a month of making big decisions for your future. I know this comes with a cost, right? From what we see here and how the reading ends. But there might be some anxiety here about the decision or about certain people who are drifting away. I feel like you are going to be letting go of that burden, right? It's like maybe a Cancer who has always been there for others, who has always held the relationships together, who has always given. I feel like now it's your turn to give to yourself, right? And of course, there are people who are going to say, what happened, Cancer? You're not giving me that energy anymore. You're not doing what you used to do before. You seem kind of free now. And of course, that's why I say some people might take it differently. They might also step aside. And I know this might cause a bit of uncertainty, anxiety, or even worry. You may sometimes wonder if you made the right decision. Relax, Cancer. Take it easy. Calm your mind. Don't burden yourselves. Don't let your thoughts be weighed down by guilt over a decision you've made. Follow your instinct. Follow the path of your spirit, right? Wherever it's leading you. Maybe what this energy is also telling you is that there are certain things you're going to keep to yourself, right? Some things I feel you'll be expressing, and others you might keep private. Pay attention to who you share this big idea, this big project, or this change you want to make with. Maybe sometimes I don't see this energy. I see it as quite positive in the sense of maybe be more reserved with some important matters in your personal life, right? If you feel something and you can do it, don't hesitate. Let's see what we have in the major arcana. Which major arcana card will be accompanying you? Anyway, you are very well favored by the world. Cancer, March 2026, 2026. You have the Pope here. Cancer. All right. I think that when it comes to the combination of energies, it tells us a lot about, I feel here a Cancer who wants to break free from the past, who wants to break free from dogmas, structures, rules, or something related to family. It's like, I want to leave behind this routine, this habit I used to have. You've started to question it. Why? Because this is a month where your philosophy of life changes, where your beliefs change. You're probably going to have more contact. It could be with a counselor, with a therapist, or even with some kind of teacher. Who is the teacher that starts to guide you on this new path? It can also be a great month for everything related to studies, especially higher education, like starting a degree, starting university, starting to studying something you really like. Maybe you have to travel for this, but it's something that will really open your mind completely. Okay? Dear Cancer, this is what we've seen for all of you regarding the general energy available for the month of March 2026. Have a beautiful month, and I'll see you here next time. Bye.